So, hello everyone, and welcome to the value of Intersight Telemetry, where you expecting to understand the Cisco telemetry and the benefits of that through Intersight. So, before starting the session, let me cover with you some logistical items. Please scan the QR code shown in the slide here so that you can register to the upcoming webinars covering the data center compute journey, where we have several webinars covering the getting started with Intersight, the introduction to IMM with the seamless transition from UCSM to IMM mode, and finally the key functionalities of Intersight managed mode. So please scan this QR code, check the webinars and register for them. Also, another ask, please do join Slido because we are going to push to you several questions throughout the session, and we need you to answer them so that we can have interaction. Your inputs and feedback are important to us. So you can join Slido through the webinar or the WebEx application, or you can go to the browser and write slido.com, enter the session code and the passcode, or you can directly scan the QR code shown here in the slide and enter the passcode for this Slido. Also, it's important to mention that if you have any questions, you can add your questions into the Q&A on the Slido. Please, any questions you have, put it in the Slido Q&A, not on the webinar chat. So today's presenters are me, Shuru Hamid, and Saif Al Hamoud. I'm going to give you a very short intro about us. I have expertise in the cloud and compute field. I've been working on the hyperconverged infrastructure from a deep technical perspective for several years. I'm holding VCP, DCV, VMware, vSAN, and data center CCIE. Also, currently, I'm a customer success specialist covering EMEA, focusing on Intersight, Hyperflex, and UCS servers. And for Saif, he's a customer success specialist in the EMEA customer experience, specializing in data center solutions, with his primary focus being the ACI and Intersight. He has experience in tech, supporting Cisco networking products such as Nexus Family, switches, and UCS. He is certified in CCIE Data Center, CCNP, Enterprise Core, and DevNet Associate. So let me first cover with you the flow of the session. We should be covering all you need to know about Intersight telemetry. So our session will be divided into three parts specifically. The first part will be show me how, and this part will be cover the explanation of the concept of the telemetry, the Intersight, the telemetry experience you are getting from each Intersight deployment type, the connectivity to Intersight, how you can claim your compute infrastructure specifically to Intersight, and the security overview, what kind of data are going onto the cloud or going to Intersight in general, depending on the type of deployment that you have. This is for the first part. The second part will be explore with us, and this is the practical part. We are going to explore with you and navigate with you on Intersight, how you can claim the targets and show you some of the features and the benefits that you are getting from the telemetry on Intersight platform. The third and the last part will be help me succeed, and this will include the live Q&A. So during the session, if you have questions, please send us and we are going to answer you. If there are any unanswered questions, we are going to answer it in the live Q&A part. And then this is very important part, which is the one-to-one consultation. If you are interested to get one-to-one consultation with our customer success team, we are willing to do this. Just reach out, just send us your mail through the survey that will be at the end of the webinar. You can there is one question that you can enter your mail in it if you are interested in the one-to-one session, and we are going to reach you out for one-to-one session to help you start your journey with Intersight. So we are going to start with the show me how part. But before that, Alex is going to share with you the first poll question from Slido.
So the first question is if you use Intersight.
Thank you, Alex. So please answer this question and we are going to share with you the result later. So first of all, we are going to start with the Intersight overview. We need first to make sure that you are getting the concept of Intersight or the value of Intersight. What is Intersight? So the answer to this question is that Intersight is a single pane of glass for the management. It is the platform that you can gather all your compute infrastructure in, whether you are talking about UCSM, whether you are talking about IMC or Hyperflex clusters, whether you are talking about several domains in different data centers in different locations and region. So traditionally, if you have this architecture on daily operation, you need to access several management platforms to be able to monitor and manage your infrastructure. But in the case of Intersight, to have all of these centralized in one place on Intersight. So Intersight is a single pane of glass for your compute infrastructure. It gives you the whole visibility to monitor and manage. And top of that, it gives you many other features that does not exist on the traditional management platforms. So, like one of them is the centralized place for the policies and profiles. So it enables you to automate your configuration because you can reuse the policies, clone the profiles, and use the same configuration or even do small or minor changes based on your architecture to configure your new servers that you are willing to expand to your infrastructure. And it's well, Intersight provides you with the optimization of your workload and the recommendation of actions to your infrastructure based on your health. So, in nutshell, Intersight is simplifying your IT operations and making the monitoring, the management, and all the actions taken from one place. Intersight is giving you the visibility not only for the compute infrastructure, but for networking, as you can see here, and for the storage and the virtualization as well. So you can have also one place for the storage and for vCenter specifically. But today in our session, we are going to focus on the Intersight infrastructure service. And this is the services provided to your compute infrastructure or to your servers, UCS servers and Hyperflex. So what is the Intersight infrastructure service? These are the services provided through Intersight to your compute infrastructure. So as you can see here in this slide, we have Intersight can be managing your UCSM domains. It can be managing your standalone servers, and it can manage as well the new form of management, which is the Intersight Manage mode, where we are directly configuring the Fabric interconnect and managing the servers. For all of these type of servers, we have several features that Intersight provide. One of them we already have mentioned, which is the global policies, where we have centralized place for the policies on the configuration, which is a great feature because let's say in the traditional methods, you have your configuration in one domain, and in case that you are expanding or creating a new domain, you need to recreate the configuration or copy the configuration. But in case of Intersight, you have all of these centralized in one place. So it makes it much easier in terms of the configuration, less errors, less risks as well. Also, another thing, and when you are talking about the proactive RMA and the connected tag, those are one of the most appealing features for the customers. The proactive RMA, this is the hardware replacement of the defective part. And for Intersight, it provides you with this service proactively and automatically. It automatically detects the failure in the hardware disks, in the memory, and in the fans as well. So it detects those failure open RMA request and send you email with this data. You just authorize the RMA and it proceeds with the rest of the process. If we compared these steps with the traditional method of the RMA, we will find that Intersight is a huge time saver because it makes it proactively and automated for you. In the traditional method, you just need to detect the failure, or you are suspecting that there is a hardware failure. You open a tag case and then upload the logs, and the tag engineer analyze the logs and then confirm to you that okay, it's hardware failure and you will need to replace. Then you start the RMA process. But on Intersight, it just delivers that service proactively for you. It opens that directly when it detects the hardware failure with no hassle of all of the other things compared to the traditional method. Another thing which is very appealing as well, which it is the connected tag. So the connected tag from Intersight means that Intersight has connectivity directly with the support case manager. This is the portal that you use to open tag cases. From that, from Intersight, you click on the specific server that you have issues in. Let's say you have server X that you want to open a tag case for. You click on that specific server, open tag case, and then you are directly routed to the support case manager with information pushed from Intersight for that server X, the serial number, the IP address, and you just need to put in the issue that you have or the troubleshooting steps that you have done. After the case is created, it's assigned to tag engineer and the logs are automatically uploaded. So also this is a huge time saver compared to the traditional method of opening tag cases. Another key functionalities that Intersight provide to you is the advisories, and this is the security vulnerability, the end of life notices, and the field notices as well. If you compared it to the traditional method, you wait to receive email and then for a specific vulnerability, and then you check if this vulnerability is impacting any of your servers, and then you search for the workaround and remediation. But in case of Intersight, you get this information available on top of its platform. There is vulnerability X and it's impacting server A, B, and C from your infrastructure, and the workaround and remediation if available. The last key functionality that we are going to talk about is the HCL, or the hardware compatibility list. Also, this service is provided with you proactively. It gives you the compliance status of your hardware, software, and adapter version. So in case that you have any of these components incompatible, it provides you that it is incompatible and you need to go another version or another compatible version. It provides you with the compatible version, and even you can do the upgrade from Intersight as well. So here it is, Intersight in nutshell, the infrastructure services and the key functionalities. And please pay attention to these functionalities because those are the main functionalities that are impacting the telemetry experience or related to the telemetry experience that you are getting depending on the deployment type. This slide is just for your reference. It covers the Intersight licensing model. We have two models. We have the essentials and the advantage. Most of the or all of the key functionalities that we have mentioned in the last slide are under the essentials license tier. And the advantage is more of if you are into the automation orchestration, or if you are willing to claim third-party storage or virtualization like vCenter to your Intersight. The next part, which is the core of our session today, is the Intersight deployment options and the telemetry experience. So now, after we have explained what is Intersight, we need to understand what is telemetry or what is Cisco telemetry. So Cisco telemetry, it is automated communication process by which data is collected at remote or inaccessible point and transmitted to receiving equipment for monitoring. So in summary, the telemetry is that we are pulling some data, and we are talking here about inventory and configuration data, not customer data. We are using this data to help you into two ways. One, or the first one, is giving you with proactive services like the proactive RMA, for example, that we have mentioned, giving you with proactive services and recommendations based on your health and inventory configuration data. The second thing, or the second benefit that we provide you when we have the telemetry enabled, is tracking your license consumption and the actions that you are doing on your Intersight to make sure that you are properly using Intersight and fully adopting the solution, and help you step by step in your adoption journey to make sure that you are getting and using most of the features, because we are tracking which features that you are using and which are not. So this is telemetry in a nutshell: retrieving some data and then provide you with some services in front of this data that we have pulled. The next thing here is it is relating the deployment type that you have for Intersight with the telemetry experience that we are getting at Cisco. So the first deployment option that we have in Intersight is the SaaS. The SaaS, this is the cloud version of Intersight. You are connected directly to the cloud, okay? So as you can see here, in case of the standalone servers, instead of the UCSM or the HX, you are connected directly to Cisco, are connected or claimed directly on Cisco Intersight or intersight.com. And then you have the telemetry enabled automatically, and you are able to get the features that we have mentioned before with the full experience: the TAC, the HCL, the advisories. The the most advantage here of being SaaS or using the SaaS deployment is that you don't need to do upgrade. All of these features are automatically updated, and any changes or any new releases or any new features are pushed automatically on the SaaS. Okay? And make sure that you are getting this point, because we are going to compare it with the other deployment types. So in here, we are provide you with the latest vulnerabilities, the latest end-of-life notices, the latest compatibility matrix as well. The second deployment type, which is the CVA. The CVA, it is connected virtual appliance. It is for the customer that has data locality restriction. So what is it? It's like wrapping the Intersight service in OVA, and then you deploy this OVA on-prem, and you have your Intersight appliance on-prem. Okay? This Intersight appliance is connected to the intersight.com. The telemetry experience that we are getting in this type of deployment is limited telemetry, and it depends on the customer control of which data will stay on-prem and which data will leave the prem to intersight.com. And also, it's like a single point of contact between your targets and the cloud. It's not directly connected to the cloud. It's like a proxy. The impact of having limited telemetry here is the delay in the features and the updates and the new releases. Because when we are talking about SaaS compared to the CVA, in terms of the new releases and features, the CVA follows the SaaS with 90 days or 3 months as a time interval. So if there is a new feature or there is new update and release in the compatibility matrix that got pushed on Intersight SaaS, you get it after 90 days on the CVA. And this is the impact of having limited telemetry, but you will still benefit of those features. You have automatic updates and you have manual updates option on the telemetry, and there is one of the latest things, which is the intelligent bundle. And this is the intelligent bundle is only for updating the HCL and the advisories instead of updating the whole appliance. This is a much smaller bundle to make it easier for updating those two features specifically. But in general, the CVA, you have delayed features compared to the SaaS. And this is the impact of having limited telemetry. The third type of deployment is the PVA, which is the private virtual appliance. This is for very critical customers that need to be totally air-gapped and no internet connection at all. So in this case, it's also the Intersight services wrapped in OVA, but you choose the PVA type and you don't have internet connectivity at all. Everything you have, you will need to do it manually. For the features, you will have it all in package, but you will need to do any update or upgrade manually. And since it is OVA, so comparing to the SaaS, it has the same point of having delayed features and the delayed releases compared to the SaaS. So now Alex is going to share with you the result of the first poll question and share with you the next one.
Okay, so in the previous question, if you are using Intersight, we have had, and I'm going to close the voting, we have had like, I don't have Intersight licenses, 59%, 27% have said yes, and then 14%, no, I have licenses but haven't used them. All right, and the next question that I'm going to be opening right now is the one you're seeing here. What type of Intersight deployment you have? And you have to choose between the ones that Sharuk mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. So it seems like this session is perfectly fit for you so that you can understand more about Intersight and telemetry and then continue the journey with us in the upcoming webinars. So the next part that we are going to discuss is the Intersight connectivity. So after you understand the concept of Intersight, the concept of the telemetry, the different deployment types, now we need to start to take action. We need to claim our servers to Intersight. So we need first to understand how the communication is done from the targets or the servers to Intersight and what are the requirements for that. So on Intersight platform, today we are going to focus mainly on the compute part, the UCS and the Hyperflex. But Intersight, on top of Intersight, you can claim Nexus dashboard, ACI, standalone Nexus, and MDS. And this will be explained in later sessions for the telemetry for the DCN. So focusing on the compute part or on the servers part here, you have Cisco Intersight. You can claim or you can use it to manage your standalone servers, fabric attached compute or servers, and the hyperconverged, whether we are talking about Hyperflex or now Nutanix. So how my servers can communicate to Cisco Intersight. Intersight must be able to do two things. First, perform actions against targets. So in case that you want it to be the main management platform for you, you need to do the daily operations like power on, power off, reach to the KVM, upgrade firmware. You need to be able to do actions from Intersight to your servers. And the second thing, Intersight needs to listen for messages from the target. You need to retrieve information to do analysis and to give you proactive services and recommendations based on your health. So how we can make this possible, or how can Intersight make this possible? This is through two components, the native API at target and the secure connection mechanism from the target. This is bundled in only one thing, these two components. It is the device connector. The solution to this connectivity is the device connector. The device connector, this is the part that creates the WebSocket communication between the targets or your servers and Intersight. This is a very light and autonomous piece of software allowing the communication. It is already bundled with your firmware, Cisco mainly firmware, so it exists on the UCSM, IMC, HX Connect. Okay, so you don't need to pay extra effort for this. You already have these device connectors on your firmware. It is embedded product feature. It provides you with a durable communication. It is self-updated, so once you have your targets claimed to Intersight, you don't need to do any upgrade to the device connector. It is self-updating, and it is autonomous check-in. So once the targets are connected to Intersight, you are able to communicate and retrieve the information needed. And this applies for UCS Fabric Interconnect, C-Series, and HyperFlex. Device connector already there, and it is the part that creating the communication with Intersight. So what are the requirements to make sure that you will be able to claim your targets to Intersight? First, you need to make sure that you have the minimum supported version for the targets, mainly for the Cisco HyperFlex, all version 2.5.1 or later, and you will find all the data here. But it is important to get the latest information and the compatibility from intersight.com/help. We have this link here for your reference so that you can always get the updated details for the requirements. So you need first to have the minimum supported version for targets, and after that, okay, you need to have the DNS and NTP. They should be configured on the device connector settings, and we will show you that later. The DNS should resolve as vc.intersight.com and should allow the communication through the firewall. You need to open port 443 and 80 between the target and Intersight, and the communication should be bi-directional. The device connectors, again, are self-updating, so no need to manage or no need to upgrade the device. So as you can see here, the device connector or the connectivity, this is the target. It has a native API. On top of that, there is the device connector. The device connector is the one creating the connection through the internet to the cloud or to Cisco Intersight. And this is through port 443 tunneled with TLS. It's highly secured and durable WebSocket. So what are the steps if I'm following or aligning with the minimum requirements? I already have the minimum supported version. I have the DNS and TP configured, the ports open, it's resolving the svc.intersight.com. Then what are the steps to start claiming the targets on Intersight? First, you will need to go to your management platform, which is IMC or UCSM. Okay, then you go to the device connector, which is under the admin part. You check the settings to make sure that you have the DNS and TP and all of this. As you can see here in this screenshot, it is the settings of the device connector. This button is automatically or by default it's toggled on, means it allows a communication between the UCSM, for example, and Intersight. Okay, and then when you check and that all the settings are okay, you just get from the same page or from the same settings of the device connector the device ID and claim code. You copy the device ID and claim code, go to intersight.com, claim UCSM, put the device ID and claim code, and that's it. Then you have the UCSM servers existing on Intersight platform. So for now, we have covered the first part regarding the overview, the telemetry, the deployment options, and the connectivity. Now we are going to go with you in the second part, which is explore with us, the demo part with Saif.
Thank you so much, Shuruq, for the presentation. So let me start by sharing my screen here. So in this demo for today, we will be covering some of the topics that was mentioned by my colleague Shuruq. The first thing that we will be covering is the process of claiming the multiple products that we have inside the compute infrastructure. So as you can see here, I already logged into my Intersight account. From the Intersight account on the top left, you will see the different navigation panel that you will have available. You can see there is the infrastructure services, cloud orchestrator, workload optimizer, and the last one is system. This is where we can actually view our Intersight settings as well as the claim our new targets. So from the systems, we go to admin. Under it, there is targets. And here you can see the list of all the products that you have already claimed, as well as more information regarding the who claimed that device, as well as when this claim happened. So now let's claim our target. So for the targets that we are doing today is we have the UCS manager, the UCSC or the CIMC standalone C server, and the Hyperflex. So let's start by claiming the UCS manager. We clicked on the claim a new process, claim a new target, sorry. And here there is two ways to filter out the component or the product that you want to claim. So you can actually go on the left side, decide which category this device belongs to, which is the compute fabric, and it will just filter it out. The other way is for us to write down the name of the device that we want to claim, and we can see it in the filtered results. So let's go to the Cisco UCS domain or UCSM managed devices and start. And here, as Shuruq said, for us to finish the claiming process, we are required to provide the device ID and the claim code. And these two codes are actually provided from the device connector inside the product itself. So let's go to our devices. We have the UCS manager here, and let's launch it. And let's log in to our UCS manager. Now, if you haven't configured anything within the device connector, it will show you at the beginning as not even connected to the internet. And this was one of the requirements that were mentioned by Shuruq in the presentation, where we are required to configure DNS, NTP, if needed also to have internet connectivity, some proxy, so that you will get to be able to be connected to the intersight.com, specifically to the svc.intersight.com. This is what the device connector should be able to resolve through your DNS service. Now, once you open your UCS manager, on the left side, we have the different tabs or navigation panels that we have. The last one, we have the admin. Once you open it, you will see the list of all the admin settings that you can perform on the UCS manager. And scrolling down until the end, you will see there is the device connector configuration. From here, this is what I was saying about the internet connectivity, which is the first part of the connectivity as shown here in green. So this means that we have our device connector is able to resolve towards the svc.intersight.com. In the case that you don't see it like this, there's most probably you haven't configured any of the configuration required for that resolve to be happening. Now, for us to perform some configuration of the device connector, we go to the settings on the gear icon here. And from here, let's check some of the configurations. So the first one we see is the device connector status. This is where you can disable or enable the device connector. Then we have the access mode. What do we allow for the access? Is it going to allow control from the Intersight towards our product, or is it going to be read only? Please note that changing this specific access mode might cause some limitations on the telemetry benefits that we are speaking about today. So allow control will give you the full benefit from the telemetry regarding log collection and etc. Then we have our DNS configuration. We provide the domain name and the DNS server. our NTP server that will be used to sync the times between the different products that we are claiming with the Intersight. And lastly, proxy configuration. If required, you can just enable the proxy and provide the proxy IP address. Now, since we already have all of that configured in our lab, what is left for us is to actually complete that claiming process. So let's pick up the device ID and we will put it on the Intersight, claim code, and we should put it here. Now, as you can see in a few seconds, we are seeing that the target has been successfully claimed. We can check here the first entry now is showing the UCS manager that we have claimed. You can see also who was the person who claimed it and when this claim happened, as well as the type of this product. If you open it here, you will only see some initial information about the product itself, but all of the stuff that Shuruq explained earlier as a part of the infrastructure service. So if you go to the infrastructure service navigation panel, you will be able to see more of the management controls that you have around the product. So now let's claim the second target. The second target will be our standalone UCSC server. So we are picking this here. And we need also to provide both device ID and claim code. So let's log in to the CIMC. Now, once we are logged in, we can see the summary tab from the CIMC showing us the different, some dashboards about the server status, as well as some server properties, some details. On the left side, there's these three dashes on the top left. If you open them, you can go to the admin tab here, and at the end, you will see the device connector. And this is where we have our device connector status and configuration. Similar to what we did on the UCS manager, if you go to the gear icon here on the settings, this is where you can play around the configuration that you have for DNS, proxy, NTP, as well as the device connector itself. So all of these configuration we have already done. So we have the connectivity established with the internet. The thing that's left for us is to complete the connection between the internet and the Intersight, or at the end, which means like to allow this access through the device ID and claim code. Let's provide both details. And now we should be able to see our new UCSC server, and you can see when it was claimed, as well as who was the person claiming this device. And now let's go to the HX Connect. Let's log in. While we are logging in, let's start the claiming process from the Intersight. Let's claim a new target. Now, specifically for the HX, you will see it under the hyperconverged infrastructure here in the categories, or you can just put Hyperflex and you will be able to see it here. Let's start it. We can see we need to provide, similar to what we did, the device ID and the claim code. And for that specifically, on the Hyperflex Connect is done through this gear icon here, which is the settings list. And the last option that we have, which is the device connector. Now, once we open it, we will check the status through the internet. If we need to make sure to make any adjustment to our configuration to establish this connectivity, we go to the settings and we push all the configuration needed. But for our scenario, we already have this connectivity. So let's take the device ID and the claim code. So now we can see also our Hyperflex cluster has been added, as you can see here. So now we have managed to claim all of the products that we have. There is an extra one that I would like to show, which is the claiming of the Nutanix. This is a new claiming target that we have, which is still under development for some of the features. For now, it's only going to claim it and give you basic information. But our business units are currently working on developing more integration between the Intersight and the Nutanix. So we thought that pointing this out or showing you this would be may be helpful for you in the future. So I have this recording where we are going to the system targets, and from here you can see we claim a new target, and similar to the Hyperflex, the Nutanix Acropolis is actually under the hyperconverged infrastructure, as you can see. And now once we start this claiming process, we need to provide some details. One of the major difference here is that we are using something called Cisco Assist. Just to talk briefly about it, the Cisco Assist is a virtual machine that will be deployed on your on-prem infrastructure, where you can use it as a mediator between the Intersight and third-party solutions. If you notice that all of our claiming process was done with a device connector, in the case of a third-party devices, they don't have the device connector service or embedded within the product itself, and that's why we are using Cisco Assist. In the future sessions in the compute journey, this will be digged into more deeper, and more details will be shared on it. Now on the Cisco Assist, once we decide which Cisco Assist we want to use, then we provide the IP address for our Nutanix, as well as we make sure which port we are using, and at the end we provide the username and password. Once this is done, you start the claiming process. It will be done in a few seconds, and we should be able to see it here. As you can see in the first entry below, we can see the claiming for the Nutanix was done. And this on the request tab, which we opened on the top right here, we can see that on which step we are in the claiming process. But since this is done quickly, you can see that the 3 stages have finished successfully. So now that we are done with the claiming of all of our products and devices that we have into Intersight, then the next step that we want to explore is the benefits from having the Intersight telemetry. So let's go to the infrastructure services. And from here, if we go to the servers, this is where we can see the list of the servers that we have on the Intersight, or we have claimed. And let's open one of these servers that we have. Now, once we open that server, we will see a few information showing directly on that server. And one of the benefits that were mentioned by Shuruq is the open tag case feature that we have. And this is only for the either connected virtual appliance or the Intersight SaaS. Now, once you open tag case here and press on it, it will automatically open the my case support Cisco website, and it will fill the information of the server that you actually picked. So you can see here it's giving me a notification that the Intersight is going to start the opening of the tag case for this specific server with this serial number. Also, another thing that we can check is the contract status. So if your contract is about to end, or the contract is there is no contract currently for this specific server, you can scroll down here on the details, and it will show you the contract coverage as well as the last date of support for this specific product for the hardware failures. Now that we are done with this specific few stuff, we can check also on the right under the events where you can see alarms, requests that were done on the server itself. We can see here the list of advisories. So what are the impacting vulnerabilities or end-of-life notices, field notices that Cisco published through their intelligent data, as Shuruk said, to be run through your servers. And we can see here, for an example, there is a vulnerability hitting this specific server. The severity for it is high. There is now a summary, a description of that specific vulnerability. Also, where you can check, get more details about this specific vulnerability and all of the affected devices that you have. So you can see here the list of the devices, what their current firmware version, and in the bottom you will see the workaround or the solution in this scenario is to perform an upgrade. And it will give you the option to choose or the different tables, whether if it's going to be like an Intersight managed mode or a UCSM managed mode, to pick up the correct version to be used. And also for the end of life, as you can see here, it will give us the exact same information just to show us when will be the last date of support for the hardware, end of service contract renewal date. So it will keep you updated on the status of your service contract and hardware support for all of your products that you have claimed on Intersight. Now we can actually do the same thing here or view the same stuff here from the top right here under the where we can see the list of the alarms. On next to it, we can see the list of all the advisories that we have impacting or impacting all of the claimed devices that we have inside the Intersight. Here they are filtered through which advisory section they are in. So if it's a security advisory, a vulnerability, you will see it here. Once you open it here, it will also give you a description, a summary about the vulnerability and the list of the devices that you have impacted, as well as the solution. Also for field notices is exactly the same, end of life advisories, and if there is any of the vulnerabilities or advisories you have already acknowledged so that you don't want to get this notification, you will see it here under the acknowledged tab. Okay. Now another thing that we are actually getting from having a telemetry enabled Intersight is the hardware compatibility matrix check. So let me open the hardware compatibility matrix. So previously, before having the Intersight telemetry, usually what we did is that we had to do the manual check for our hardware and software compatibility inside the UCS server. So we had to fill all of the details of the server type, server model, the processor version, or the operating system that we are running, and the operating system specific version. Once you get that, below it will show you the different firmware versions that are supported, and then you choose which firmware version you are using or planning to use. It will after that show you the list of all of the adapters that you can have installed on that server with the correct firmware and driver version on that specific adapters. Now, with the new hardware or through the Intersight, the thing is that the Intersight will be doing this automatically for you. So there is no need for the hassle of going and manually check if there is any new change happening to the compatibility matrix. There is no need for you to keep following up on that. Cisco will keep publishing their intelligent data. With the SaaS, this will be done automatically once the new firmware version or new drivers are published. With the connected virtual appliance as well as the private virtual appliance, you will need to wait until the intelligent data is published to be used for updating your HCL checks. Now here under the HCL, we can see if we open the hardware compliance, it picks up all the details for this specific server. What is the server software compliance? So what's the operating system and the exact version? We can see it here. And then it will check which adapters that we have installed and what are the correct drivers that we should have. And we can see here that it shows for us that for the NVIDIA, for example, we have a validated server software status, so we have the validated driver. But for the both our emblem and the RAID, so for our VIC and the RAID, we can see both of them are showing as incompatible drivers, as you can see here, with which driver we are currently running. Now, if you want to know what's the recommended drivers, we are also putting a button here on the left to see what are the recommended drivers. And you will see here what's the recommendation that we are giving. So for your specific VIC card, you can see, okay, if which adapter I'm using, how I'm using it, is it an eNIC? So the correct one is 1.035. I'm currently running 1.029. So I need to upgrade that. And for you to get this driver list, there is no need for you to go and search for it. Just press on the download driver ISO. It will take you to the Cisco software website where you can actually just download the driver package for your correct operating system. For example, here we can see ISO image for the related VMware drivers. This is where we can pick all of our drivers for that specific or for specifically for the VMware. Another thing that you can utilize this for is that if you are planning to upgrade your operating system, you can actually pick another operating system here where it will do the check. Let's pick another one where it can actually do the check for you for that specific new operating system that you are going to use once you upgrade. Okay, so we covered the HCL, we covered the tag case, and now let's speak about the log collection. A small thing before I run the recording is that we need to enable the data collection under the Intersight. In order for us to check this specific setting, we go to Infrastructure, System, and then under the settings, we go to Security and Privacy. And this is where we can check our configuration for the data collection. If you go to Configure, this is a toggle where you can allow or prevent this data collection from happening. If you actually disable this, you will lose the access for both the proactive RMA creation as well as the tag log collection feature that we are giving you as an advantage from having telemetry enabled. So we have this enabled, so tag should be able to do the log collection on our Intersight. And with that, let me show you some of the tag benefits that were mentioned in the slide. So here I have already opened a case for one of our servers, and you can see the service request number when it was created, as well as if we scroll down until the end, we will see which serial number is actually used to open the tag case and the contract number for that specific serial number. Now, once the case is opened, there is no need for me to collect the logs from that specific server. You can see here on the attachment, after a few minutes, we can see that there is logs that were collected for that specific serial number, as you can see here. And this was pulled automatically from Intersight. So Intersight will automatically pull the tech support files from that specific server that you open the case for, and it will attach it to the case. This way, it will save you time as well as for the tech engineer, so there is no need for the initial communication that asks for the initial logs. Now the tech engineer will automatically have their logs attached to the case, or the initial logs attached to the case. Now, in case the tech engineer requires more logs to be provided, for example, if this is a UCS Blade server, the Intersight provides the Blade tech support file, but the tag engineer requires one from the infrastructure, from the FIs. So the tag can actually trigger this log collection. Please note that on this small video, I'm going to show a Cisco confidential website. This website is not shown in any way or form for anyone else. This is only been done on a lab environment just to show you how we can actually perform and what are the details that we can actually get from it. Here we can see there is an internal tag Intersight portal where if we put the serial number of the device under the Customer Explorer, we will be able to view all the claimed devices. Nothing more of the information will be shown. Now, once this is fetched, we can see here that a list of all of the devices that are claimed on the Intersight. As you can see here in our lab, we are claiming Apex, standalone Nexus switches, Nexus dashboard, compute products, UCS, HyperFlex. All of these are claimed on our Intersight account. So here you can see the list of all of the claimed devices. Now, specifically to do the log collection, so we decided to do it for one of the servers here. This is a UCSC server. Once we push the generate tech support, you will see here that now we are prompted to another page, which is under the tech support generation. And for this one, we need to have a valid service request that holds the same account MOID for this account. So no one can actually pull your tech support files without having an open service request for that specific Intersight account. So now we put the serial number for the new device that we want to claim from, and we press on generate. This will take few seconds from the Tag Intersight portal. And then we will now see a notification stating that the tech support is initiated. So we can see now the successful request to generate the tech support. And now after some time, we will see the logs automatically attached to the case. It will not be sent to the engineer. It will be attached to the case with the description of that this tech support were pulled manually and from which user it was pulled. So you will see that the tag engineer responsible for this case is the one who's pulling these logs and attaching them to the case. So you will get this notification as well. This was in a nutshell the list of benefits as well as the claiming process that I thought are good to mention in today's demo. I will pass the ball back to my colleague Shuruq to guide us through the presentation.
Thank you, Saif, for the demo. So now we are going to cover a very critical part when the customers start to think, yes, now I need to deploy Intersight. What will be the data that's moved to the Intersight in case that I'm using the cloud version or in case that I'm using the appliance? In this part, we are going to answer your security concerns questions. So first of all, for the Intersight security overview, the architecture we are using or Intersight is using industry standard security protocols. All the data is encrypted and Intersight is aligning with InfoSec security and data handling standards. We are going to put all the compliance standards that Intersight following in a final slide for your reference. So one important question is, okay, when I claiming my servers to Intersight, what type of data is used or what type of data exists on Intersight? So we are totally segregating the customer data from the configuration and inventory data. Intersight is only handling and using inventory and configuration data. The customer data is on a segregated network. So this is one important point. Another thing, the long-term persistent data is encrypted at rest. And the third important thing is third-party access to data is not permitted. So for the Intersight security overview regarding the device connector security, as we have mentioned before, it's using TLS protocol on port 443. All the data is encrypted using the AES, which is the Advanced Encryption Standard. Every device connection to the portal is authenticated with a cryptographic token, and the Intersight platform presents a certificate signed by a certificate authority. The communication is initiated from the device to the Intersight, and when we claiming the target, we are using admin credentials. So the communication is highly secured. This is a very a critical part when we are talking here about the type of data that exists on Intersight. We have mentioned earlier that if you are talking about SaaS or for the appliance, in case that you have enabled setting called additional data point collection, this will be the type of data that goes to the cloud. System inventory data, for example, like the port number, the serial number of the server, description, the physical location for the interconnects, chassis, and all the server components. System configuration data, like the operational state for the servers or the fabric interconnects, the MAC, WWN, or IP addresses, the pools, the policies, the configuration, the firmware version. Statistics regarding the health and the performance of your components, the fabric interconnect, the servers, and finally the events like the hardware, firmware, faults, and system event logs. And this all configuration and inventory data we are pulling to help you, as we have mentioned earlier, to push for you proactive services like Safe has showed you in the demo, like proactive RMA, like the compliance and the security, vulnerability, and end of life notices, depending on the servers that you have and the versions that you currently have. And also the second important point that we have mentioned earlier, if you remember, for the telemetry, when you are retrieving this information, is tracking your progress and tracking the actions that you are performing on the servers to make sure that you are fully using the features and fully adopting Intersight, and then we can help you in the other features that you are not using. For the appliance, if you are not enabling the data collection part and it is minimum data collection, then there is no configuration or inventory data is going to the cloud, or all are kept on prem, and it's the limited telemetry part. If you remember that we have talked about, we are just getting from the telemetry information regarding the appliance ID, the Intersight appliance itself, not the servers, the IP address of the Intersight appliance, the host name, the version if it needs to be upgraded, the health of the Intersight appliance from the CPU memory disk usage, the licensing information, and information about the endpoint device. This is in case that you opened tag case, so that we can add this to the tag case open for that specific server. So in this slide, we are going to discuss information related to the security of using Intersight itself, what the benefits or the advantages it provides you with. So firstly, the efficiency, because when you are using Intersight, you are removing the burden of the maintenance, of the management, because all of these, specifically when we are talking about the SaaS and the automatic upgrade, if enabled on the appliance, the upgrades are pushed automatically. So it gives you more time to focus on the tasks and the other priorities. The device connectivity, it's a highly secured connection, so your devices are managed through the device connector, and it's operating or reporting the configuration and operational status. The simplicity, because you have all of the operations can be done from one place, all the policies centralized, and the so there is simplicity and centralized place to manage all your compute infrastructure. The autonomy, because there is no human interaction. Once the device connection, communication done between the target and the Intersight, you don't need to interfere. It's always connected, and we are able to retrieve your information and inventory data on Intersight, inventory and configuration. The synchronization, we are always getting the up-to-date status of your servers, whether you've changed anything in the configuration, it's directly reflected and updated on Intersight. And the analysis, because Intersight is doing analysis on your health, on your configuration data, or your inventory data, so that it can provide you with the proactive services that we have mentioned in the presentation earlier. This is the slide that is for your reference for the standard compliance that Intersight follows. And one important thing to mention here is the trust portal. The trust portal, from this, if you want to dig deep on the type of data, on the different type of Intersight, whether it is SAS, CVA, or PVA, you want to check the type of data shown, you can refer to this portal for your information. Now, Alex is going to share with you the poll results for the previous question and the new one.
Yeah, thank you, Shahrukh. So I remind the question, what type of Intersight deployment you have? I'm going to close voting. And with a little bit of difference, implementation not done yet, 44%, and Intersight SAS got 39%. So most of the attendees are using the cloud. Okay. And now I'm going to open another question regarding the security concerns that Shahrukh was talking about now. So the question is if you still have data security concerns regarding Intersight, and you can vote now. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. So we are going to share with you the result in few. Some key points to remember so that we can wrap up and summarize the session. Intersight is infrastructure lifecycle management solution. It is a central place for your infrastructure, different domains in different data centers, in different regions, in different series, and for hyper-converged infrastructure as well. The connectivity between the servers and Intersight established via the device connector, and the Cisco telemetry is activated and automatically enabled for the Intersight SAS, while you have limited telemetry for the CVA and no telemetry for the PVA. So now we have covered the show me how, the explore with us, and currently we are in the help me succeed part, where we are going to open the live Q&A, and you can also ask for the one-to-one consultation. This is mentioned in the post-webinar survey to enter your email if you are interested to do the one-to-one consultation, and we are going to reach you out. So
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, so the live Q&A is active. That's what I wanted to add.
Okay, thank you, Alex. So what questions that we have? First, we have question regarding the what if scenario when Intersight SAS or internet connection are unavailable. Can you still manage UCS domain and UCSC standalone in IMM? Is there emergency procedure or use CLI, for example? Alex already has answered this question. Would you like to share it with us, Alex?
Yes. So yeah, regarding the SAS, you will be able to manage the servers, but you will not get the real-time data like you shared, like the advisories which cover vulnerabilities and field notices at that time, or make configuration changes. And regarding the Intersight appliances, the data plane would function if the appliance is unavailable. And with IMM specifically, there is a device console that you can SSH, or you can open the web browser to this console, putting the Fabric Interconnects IP. on the browser, and then you can use that to KVM into the server and get logs if the appliance is down. But you cannot, again, do any new configuration. You cannot push configuration changes, like, for example, adding Linux or VLANs, until the connection is, the accessibility is restored. So that was, yeah, the first question we got.
Thank you, Alex. So another question is that can we get lab access to get hands-on experience? And the answer for this is also yes, because not lab access, but you can get hands-on experience, and this is through the trial 90-day license, where you can have the ability to check and explore the features of Intersight through this window on the higher license tier even, which is the advantage.
Okay, we have two more. I can read the next one. So when using essential licenses already, if we can try some functionality for specific targets using the trial. So the answer to that is that no. If you go to claim a target and you select that you don't want to do the trial in the beginning and you register, for example, to the essentials, then there is no option to go back to the trial mode.
Thank you, Alex. So the last question that we have is regarding what does the new abbreviation CAI stand for? The successor to CISG, yes. CAI stands for Cloud Artificial Intelligence, and this is the new name for the CISG. Artificial Infrastructure, yes. So now we have ended the live.
Sorry, there is another question that just came in, but
Okay.
if we have spoken about the third-party assist appliance, so the Intersight Assist that you can integrate the third-party devices, we have briefly mentioned it during the demo, Lars. So yes, I've mentioned that the Intersight Assist is a VM that you install on premises, and then with that you are connecting it to Intersight, and then you go and you claim a target, a third-party target, like you would normally do for a Cisco target, but with Intersight Assist. So when you go to claim a third-party target, it will ask you which Intersight Assist appliance you want to use, and if you have it already installed and connected to Intersight, then you will select the one you want, and you will proceed with the third-party target.
So, do we still have any other questions?
I think we have answered all the questions currently. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So, in case that you have more questions and in case that you want to dig deep, please remember to enter your mail in the post-webinar survey so that we can reach you out. So, in the next slide, we are going to share with you the result of the previous poll.
Yeah, so I'm closing voting. The question was if you have data security concerns regarding Intersight management, and 89%, so that is very good, said that all is clear now, and only 11% that has some concerns. Okay, so that was the previous question, and this one that I'm going to open now is if you are willing to use Intersight telemetry in the future. So please vote for the last question of today. Thank you.
And if I may add one more thing, so for the people who voted they have still some security concerns regarding the telemetry. As Shuruk said, please fill the post-session survey and give us your email so that we can reach you out and have a discussion on what security concerns you have and hopefully make it clear for you.
Thank you, Saif. So, what is next for telemetry in case that you are interested to attend another telemetry sessions for the different technologies, for the data center networking, for the security and the networking experience? You can check here the upcoming webinars and you can register for them. Also, Safe has sent you on the chat the registration links in case that you want to check them and interested to register for the telemetry sessions. Another sessions that we have regarding Intersight specifically, as we have mentioned, the upcoming webinars will be covering getting started with Intersight, introduction to Intersight managed mode for seamless UCSM transition, and the IMM key functionalities and features. So please, if you haven't scanned the QR code that was in the initial slide in the session, please do register through the links that Safe going to share with you on the chat as well. So what are your next steps? Now you need to register to the upcoming webinars to continue the journey of Intersight and the journey of telemetry for the rest of the technologies. You can check the Trust Portal link and the privacy data sheet for the more information on the type of data that's going to the cloud in case of the SaaS or in the appliance in case of the CVA and PVA. You can reach to the Cisco account team and service sales team if you want to initiate the usage of Intersight solution. And the last important thing is the survey. Don't forget to fill out the post-session survey, and specifically if you are interested to have one-to-one consultation session with us where we can take you through the Intersight journey and help you start activating the licenses and start using it. But before that, we need to share with you the result of the last Slido question.
Yes. So, are you willing to use Intersight telemetry? Yes, I would like to have a one-to-one session on the telemetry topic. 100%.
Okay, that's great. So don't forget to fill in your mail in the survey so that we can reach you out directly. And by that, we have ended our webinar for today. Thank you so much for your time and your attendance. Your feedback is much appreciated in the survey. And have a good rest of the day.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for attending.
Thank you. Bye-bye.